Hello again. Welcome to the channel. Hope everybody's having a great day. I've got a great one for you today, in my opinion. One of my all-time favorites. Of course, anybody that knows me knows what a huge Kiss fan I am. So, 3 albums released this week in Kiss history. Kiss Unplugged, Kiss Destroyer, and Kiss Dressed to Kill. You know, I'm going to go ahead and just come right out of the gate with Dressed to Kill, because it's probably my favorite Kiss album of all time, which is hard to pick a favorite for me, such a huge fan. But there it is. March 19th, 1975, Kiss Dressed to Kill. So, a couple of crazy facts about this album. The album is very, very short, 30 minutes, 7 seconds. And that's huge when you can put like 45 minutes on an album. And it was produced by Casablanca Records president Neil Bogart. And the reason for all of this is because the label was going through a major hardship and they couldn't afford anything at the time. You know, in my personal opinion, I think he did a spectacular job producing it. You know, looking back on the previous album, Hotter Than Hell, where the production on it was just horrible. I would love to have that album, the original master recordings, and have it reproduced. Not remastered as they have done, you know, but actually reproduced. I would love to be the guy to do it. So if you're listening, Gene and Paul, once again, I'm begging you. Anyways, getting back to Dressed to Kill. You know, I know everybody wonders about the album cover. You know, what the hell were they thinking? Wearing suits, that's not the Kiss that we all know and love. But it's a crazy thing. You know, they all went down in New York City, and I can't remember off the top of my head the exact street where they did it at, but I do know that none of them owned the suits except for Peter Criss. And the reason why Gene Simmons' suit looks so small is because it's not even his suit, that he had to borrow it from somebody that he couldn't fit into, and it's crazy stuff. Anyways, going down the track listings: Room Service, Two Timer, Ladies in Waiting, Getaway, Rock Bottom, Come On and Love Me, Anything for My Baby, She, Love Her All I Can, and Rock and Roll All Night. And as we all know, this album includes the biggest Kiss song of all time, probably the one that they play at every single show, Rock and Roll All Night, and probably most people's favorite song that aren't really Kiss fans. That's probably like one of the few that they know, other than like Beth and stuff like that. But my favorite songs off the album are 2 of them, actually, She and Love Her All I Can, which coincidentally were 2 songs that Gene and Paul wrote in their previous band, Wicked Lester. And if you haven't heard anything from that album, I suggest you find it and listen to it. It's really kind of cool. Very, very 70s. Almost a little bit on the prog side. Got a little bit of flute going down in there and keyboards. But I love it for what it was, you know. It's a great album. But off of this album, you know, Two Timer is such a heavy, heavy sounding song. Gotta love that. But my top 2 are She and Love Her All I Can. And if I have to pick a favorite, I'm gonna say She. That's a very, very heavy song. just love the sound of it. Love the licks on it. It's great. Love Her All I Can is great. I mean, listen to those guitar licks on Love Her All I Can. That whole solo part. That's shred, man. That's before Eddie Van Halen was out. Listen to those guitar licks and tell me there's not some influence from Ace Frehley going to Eddie Van Halen. I know. Don't throw stuff at me. Anyways, there you have it. Kiss Dressed to Kill, March 19th, 1975. After that, they did a live album, but their next studio album was Destroyer, March 15th, 1976. And probably the band's most popular album due to the fact that Peter Criss wrote Beth and played the piano, and it's a love song and got radio play, and anybody that hadn't heard of Kiss at that point now heard of them. Great song. But, once again, it's not something you'd think Kiss would do, but there you have it. Going down the track listing: Detroit Rock City, King of the Nighttime World, God of Thunder, Great Expectations, Flaming Youth, Sweet Pain, Shout It Out Loud, Beth, Do You Love Me, and then that whole thing at the end that runs for almost a minute and a half, and they called it Rock and Roll Party, which basically is just a whole extended version of Great Expectations, and a bunch of other gobbledygook that's on there. So, interesting fact about this album: God of Thunder was written by Paul Stanley, not Gene Simmons, as most of you would probably think. And it was originally a really up-paced, dare I say, disco-esque type song. If you ever get a chance to hear the original demo of that song, you'll swear it's not Kiss. But thanks to Bob Ezrin, when they were listening to the demos, Bob had a great idea of slowing the song down a lot and letting Gene Simmons handle the vocals on it. And boy, was Bob Ezrin ever right about that. And then, there's a lot of other weird stuff going on. This was one of the first times of many where some other players came on and played on the album. And at the time, I didn't know. I was just a kid, 11 years old. And I'm sure most people didn't know until much later that a lot of Kiss albums have different players on it that you didn't know about. But Dick Wagner, who, from Alice Cooper's band, Bob Ezrin brought him in to play on Sweet Pain and on Great Expectations, and on Beth as well, if you can hear the acoustic guitar in the background. But Dick Wagner did the guitar solo on Sweet Pain, which later on, when they released the resurrected version of that, you can hear the Ace Frehley version of it as well. But crazy stuff going on there, as well as the crazy stuff that Bob Ezrin wanted his little kids in the background of God of Thunder, which is kind of weird to me, but whatever. Why everybody turned and looked at each other and said, "Hey, that sounds great. Let's leave that on the record." That's beyond me. But anyways, if I had to pick a favorite song off this album, it would be very, very hard, because there's so many good ones. Bob Ezrin did a lot of co-writing. Kim Fowley did a lot of co-writing. Stan Pendridge. Kim Fowley was a great guy. Rest in peace. He, short story, he came to me and wanted to get us signed in our band, Tramp, way before we did our record deal, and took us to his house and played some records and sat around and talked. Kim Fowley's a crazy, strange guy, but man, he was a smart guy and he was a creative guy, and that's my short little Kim Fowley story. But Detroit Rock City is such a great number. Um, Flaming Youth is really great. Sweet Pain is really great. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Do You Love Me, my favorite track off the album. Written by Paul Stanley, Kim Fowley, and Bob Ezrin. Cool song. Very cool song. There you have it. Destroyer, March 15th, 1976. Also, they recorded that at Electric Lady Studios, which, from what I understand, Ace Frehley was really, really happy about. Ace Frehley, the big Jimi Hendrix fan. Here we go, moving on to another Kiss album that was released this week in Kiss history. Kiss Unplugged, March 12th, 1996. This was the show that got the band back together. Everybody thought it was just going to be an unplugged unplugged album, with Paul and Gene and Bruce Kulick and Eric Singer. But Ace Frehley showed up, Peter Criss showed up. Well, it's not like they showed up. They actually did rehearsals for it, Surprised all of us. But they were prepared. Going down the track listing, Coming Home, great song. Plaster Caster, Going Blind, another great song. Do You Love Me? Domino, Sure Know Something. A World Without Heroes. Okay. Rock Bottom, See You Tonight. I Still Love You. Every Time I Look at You. 2000 Man, which, in case you didn't know, is a Rolling Stones cover. Beth, Nothing to Lose. Rock and Roll All Night. And Got to Choose if that was kind of like the Japanese release. I don't think it was on the US version. And picking a favorite song off this album, it's kind of hard to do because it was really cool, having them play Coming Home and Going Blind, but that wasn't with Ace Frehley and Peter Criss. Oddly enough, Ace Frehley and Peter Criss only ended up playing on 4 songs on the album, actually. And so if I have to choose a favorite, I'm going to have to choose, between one of those songs, of course, So you're talking about 2000 Man, Beth, Nothing to Lose, and Rock and Roll All Night. And I'm going to pick Nothing to Lose. It's a hard one to pick off that album, but there you have it. March 12th, 1996, and when these guys got together that day, and it was actually recorded, prior to that, August 9th, 1995, when they got together that day. The album was released March 12th, 1996, but it was recorded on August 9th, 1995. And when they got together that day and felt everything through the rehearsals and the performance, and Paul and Gene had dollar signs in their eyes, the original 4 got back together and did a tour and did Psycho Circus and on and on and on, which I think was a smart move, but there's a lot more involved in that. Money, etc., etc. So I'm going to throw in a little something. Kiss the Originals 2 was released on March 23rd, 1978, this week in Kiss history. The Originals 2, everybody knows the Originals was the first 3 albums. The debut Kiss album, Hotter Than Hell, and Dressed to Kill. But in 78, on March 23rd, they released the Originals 2, but it was only a Japanese release, and it's very hard to find, and it's kind of funky looking. If you look at the artwork here I have. But that was a great thing to do, although I think they should have released it worldwide. Because those 3 albums, were great albums as well, I mean, you're talking about Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, and Love Gun. And 3 awesome albums, man. And you gotta love it. looking at the artwork, you know, they tried to mimic the first originals, and although the artwork's pretty horribly done. But there you have it. 3 great Kiss albums, 4 if you want to count the originals too, released this week in Kiss history. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And have a great day. Until next time, rock on.